Heian Yondan. Yep. Yep. Pause. Pause. Heian Yondan. Yep. Yep. Pause. Heian Yondan is the fourth kata in the Heian series, and it's often translated as Peaceful Mind Level 4. As with the other Heian katas, it introduces several new aspects and fundamental parts of our training, including Kosadachi, Kakiwaki Uki, as well as a downward striking Uraken on the first Kiai. Heian Yondan is the fourth kata in the Heian series, and it's often translated as Peaceful Mind Level 4. As with all of the other katas in the Heian series, it gets progressively more difficult and incorporates several new stances and strikes, including a Jujuki, a downward striking Uraken, a Kosadachi, and Kakiwaki. Similar to the first movements in Heian Yondan and Heian Sandan, we are going to drop into Kokutsu, back stance. The difference being we do this slowly. So I'm going to load my right leg and bring my arms up. The finished position is exactly the same as that in Heian Yondan. So my shoulder is in line with my elbow, in line with my hand, rather than the fist is open. And in this case, my right arm, the wrist is in line with my forehead, elbow in line with my shoulder. And again, similar to Nidan, there is no need to bring these arms together. Feel like your left arm is on the left side of your head, right hand is on the right side of the head. As we said, this is performed slowly. Often with our slow techniques, we want to start with a quickness. So feel initiate fast, and then intense. The second movement is a repeat. So on the first movement, my right leg is bent. From here, I'm going to drop my hands to my left side and then bring them up to the same position on the opposite side. Really important with these first two movements that you don't bring your hands from the outside in. Make sure the feeling is everything is going forward. Everything is going forward. The third movement is a Giran Jujuki. There are several ways to prepare this block. Some people bring the hands down to Hikite. The way we're going to do it today is I'm going to cross my hands by my right shoulder. So where my right hand is, as I bring my left leg in, I'm going to bring my left hand in front. Then from this position, drive my arms straight forward. Really important, I don't bring my hands down. Almost treat them both like a Giran Zuki feeling. So from here, they are going straight. Some people do this bottom hand as a Giran Barai, this top hand as a Tati Ken with the palm facing out, or you can do both as Tati Ken, both palms facing out. As well as thinking about the arms, really important to think about the legs on this third movement. So for instance, I don't want to leave my right foot still as I go forward into Zenkutsudachi, as we have talked about before. When my back foot is turned out like this, really difficult to drive from this back leg and can also put a huge amount of pressure on the inside of my right knee, which can lead to injury. So as I cross my arms at the top, I also want to think about squeezing my right leg forward so my back foot is facing the front before driving in to my Zenkutsu Dachi. The next movement is Morosu Uki, that double arm augmented block. Similar as we have in Heian Sandan, we're going to step into Kokutsu Dachi. As we've done in Nidan and Sandan, you can either bring the arms to the side or to Hikute, both considered correct, but we have 4 Morosuki in this category, and as always, they have to be performed the same way. So if you choose to make Hikute on this first one, or bring the arms to the sides, make sure you're consistent when you make the second, third, and fourth. This next sequence is particularly challenging, and we'll do it first facing the front before going to face the side. It is going to be a Yokogeri Kyagi, followed by an Uraken, followed by a Mawashi Empi around elbow strike. We'll do it smoothly, and then we'll talk it to count, and then we'll add a little bit of detail. So the first part, I'm going to bring my right hand to Hikute, left hand on top. At the same time as I do this, I'm going to prepare my left knee for the Yokogeri Kyagi. So my kicking foot is by my opposite knee. My kicking knee is pointing in the direction of the kick. From this position, similar to Heian Yondan, I'm going to make an Uraken back fist strike and a Yokogeri Kyagi. From here, I'm going to allow my left foot to touch down, keeping my weight over my right foot as my left hand opens before driving off my right leg to make the Mawashi Empi. Make sure your arms are in the correct position when you strike the Mawashi Empi. So my right hand is shito. A really common mistake is that people will catch this elbow. Make sure this stays in that shuto position. Also, make sure your forearm is not touching the inside of your wrist. This is only a small detail, but it's the difference between striking with your forearm and striking with the elbow. So feel your fist coming back towards your chest as you drive this elbow strike in. Just show that sequence from the side now. So I'm going to bring my right hand to Hikute, left hand on top, as I prepare my left foot to kick. Left foot by my right knee, left knee pointing in the direction I'm about to kick. Like Heian Yondan, my left arm is going to go out Uraken at the same time as I kick Yokogeri Kyagi. From here, my left hand is going to open as my left foot touches down before driving into that Mawashi Empi position, finishing in Zenkutsu Dachi front sides. From this Zenkutsu Dachi, I'm going to repeat this combination on the opposite side. I'm going to start with a step. Really important, I keep my arm still as I step, else I'm out of sync with the first side. With the first side, my hands and foot prepared together. I want to make sure it's the same on this side. So I'm not going to step, so my hands prepare, and then my foot is on its own. Important that I step, trying to keep my upper body still, and then we have the preparation for the kick before going into the yoga limb. Just going through a few of the common mistakes in this sequence. We've already touched on the coordination of the hands to the knee, but importantly on that step as well, as you make the half step, do not allow yourself to come up. You want to make sure your left knee stays bent, your center of gravity stays low to help that generate power for the Yokogeri Kyagi. Two common mistakes with the Yokogeri Kyagi. The first one is that the toes often end up going towards the ceiling, and the second one is that after snapping out, the kick comes back like a Mawashi Geri. With the first point, it's very important that you're hitting with the side of the foot into the target. And a couple of things to help with this. Firstly, just be super aware you are looking at your kick, so make sure it's the edge of the foot going in, not toes to the ceiling. The second point, if I have my leg out like this, my toes are going up. If I rotate my left foot in, so I pivot, my foot automatically rotates. So just like with all of our kicks, we want our weight, our mass going behind the technique. So the more I can rotate that foot in, not only is it delivering a more powerful kick, but it's improving the shape of my foot. And just like we need to have maximum hand control when we make a fist, for instance, we need to have maximum foot control when we make a kick. As we touched on when walking through this sequence to count, it's important you don't land and make the Mawashi Empi at the same time. There is a subtle difference in timing where after I've made Uraken and Kyagi, I'm allowing my right foot or my front foot to stretch out before driving that back leg into the Washi. This is a different way of generating power, and Heian Yondan is our first example of this. So after you've delivered the Yokogeri Kyagi, make sure this right foot touches down first before driving into the ebi. From this position, we have an Agyuki and a Shuto Uchi. From this point, my left hand is going to drop as my right hand comes high to prepare, just showing from this slightly different angle so you can see. My left hand drops down as my right hand prepares, palm facing out, keeping my shoulder relaxed. From this position, I'm not going to step. I'm going to squeeze my right inner thigh, push my right glutes to finish in the Senko Tadachi position facing the front of the dojo. Make sure this is a pivot, not a step. So as I time this, it is my arms first. Then as I pivot, I'm going to lift my left hand, open arm Agyuki, as I strike Shuto Uchi with my right. Just showing you from here. So my arm's going to stretch, my weight haven't changed. Then I'm going to squeeze that leg in as I block and strike Shuto Uchi. With the Shuto Uchi from this preparation point, try to make sure you don't allow your arm to come too wide. This will weaken the technique, slow the technique, and can also lead to damage in your elbow joints if you was to make impact. As with all of our arcing techniques, we want to feel the joint. In this case, my elbow is going straight, and then the striking parts, in this case, like that Shuto edge of the hand, is going forward. So don't think round, think elbow going straight, and then the hand, the striking part of the hand, is striking in. From this position, we have the sequence for the first kiai. First count, or the first part of the sequence, is a Maigeri Kyagi. You're going to kick with your right leg. As with all of our kicks, the height is completely unimportant, but if you're able to try and kick in front of your fingers. As you make the Maigeri, try to stay the same height, don't allow yourself to come up, and try to keep your arms completely still. After you have performed a Maigeri, you are going to block Osayuki pressing block with the left. This is the same block as we had in Heian Nidan and in Heian Sandan. My left arm is going to press down. At the same time, my right arm is going to come straight up, palm facing the front as a fist, preparing the Yoroken back fist. From here, I'm going to step into Kosadachi. I'm going to strike Uluken with my right hand. My right foot is going to land in exactly the same position as the Zenku Tadachi. Before my left leg comes up behind, knees together on the ball of the foot with my left. As my left foot comes up, I'm going to bring my left hand back to Hikite. My right hand is going to strike down Uluken, and I'm going to make my first Kiai. Just show you that sequence from the side now. So as I make my Kyagi, I'm going to try and keep my arms still in the same height. My left hand is going to press down Osayuki as my right hand prepares. From here, my right leg is going to shoot forward in the same position as the front stance. Before I bring my left hand back to Hikite, my right hand strikes down Uluken, and my left leg comes up behind and Kiai. In previous Heian katas, we have talked about Hanmi and Shomen, side-on position and square position. With this first Kiai in Heian Yondan, we want to be in Shizen, which is more of a natural position. So as my right hand comes down, I'm going to have this natural rotation in my body. So I am not fully Hanmi, nor am I square. Just a slight pressure with that right side as the arm comes down. The next movement is Kakiwaki Uki, which is often translated as wedge block. From this arm position, your left hand is already where it needs to be. Just feel your right arm bypass Hikite, cross, and then slowly block out. Kakiwaki Uki can also be translated as passing from left to right or from right to left, from side to side. So it's important that you don't finish with a forward and then backwards feeling. Make sure it is out. From the first Kiai, I have my right leg forward in Kosadachi, my right hand is Uluken, and my left hand is in Hikite. So I am going to make this Kakiwaki Uki preparation. My left hand is just going to come slightly up. My right hand is going to bypass my sides and they're going to cross. It doesn't really matter which hand is in front, but generally you'll find if my left leg is going to be in front, my left hand prepares in front. As I say, it doesn't really matter, but it's just one way to try it and remember. From this position, I'm going to rotate into Koku Tadachi as I make my Kakiwaki Uki. This is another slow movement, so try to start with a quickness, with a smoothness, before making the ending intense. From this position, it is a Maigari with my right, before landing Oizuki with my right, before punching Gyatsuki with my left. From here, I have another Kakiwakyuki. My right leg is going to come in as my arms prepare. Again, right arm in front for the right leg being forward, before going smoothly out into back stance. Before making a left Maigari, a left Oizuki, then a right Gyatsuki. From this position, I'm going to go to the back of the dojo. So if you envision our clock face, 12 being the front of my dojo, 6 being the back of the dojo. So I'm now looking towards roughly 7 o'clock. My left leg is forward, my right hand is out. I have the second of my 4 Moroto Uki. So however you chose to prepare before, make sure it is the same way. You're going to prepare and then send your left leg towards 6 o'clock, the back of the dojo, in Kokutsudachi. From here, I'm going to make my 3rd and 4th Morosuki go into the back of the dojo. As before, however you chose to prepare, make sure you are consistent as you step to the back. From that 4th and final Morosuki, you are going to drive into front stance, Senkutsudachi. Try not to step out with your front leg. Rely on the push of the back leg to send your weight forward. As you do this, you're going to catch with both hands open. From this position, you're going to attack Kizagari, knee attack with your right. Bring both hands down as fists, just below your knee. And Kiai. From this Kiai, you're going to turn 180 degrees, so you now end up facing the front of the dojo. Your left hand is going to come to your neck as you prepare and step backwards, Shutouki in Kokutsudachi, before stepping forwards, Shuto. So that was the basic walkthrough for Heian Yondan. As usual, we're going to go into a few more details, a few more advanced details now. If you're looking to tweak or change or improve your kata, if you're leaving us now, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in another video in the dojo soon. So the first 2 movements, as always, we want to try and get as much mass or as much body weight behind our technique as possible to make them more powerful, which is often difficult when we are stepping in back stance, when we are stepping slowly. So a couple of things to help. The first thing I want you to think about is you can, of course, just load this leg, but maybe think about turning, as we've said before, that inner thigh muscle squeeze, that right glute pressure, which is going to send my right side in. As I bring my hands down, I'm sending my lower body in and then turning out into that block. It just adds a little more nuance and a little more mass to that first technique. As for the second movement, similar to what we were talking about Heian Yondan, it's really important I don't allow my weight to change on the preparation and then the arms being on their own. Try instead to feel that my preparation, which can include my foot, is first, and then that rotation, that transfer of weight, and the technique happens at the same time. When it comes to the Yokogeri Kyagi, we already mentioned how we want to try and keep our arms still to make it the same as the previous side. But it's not only for that reason we want to try and keep our upper body still. We almost want to try and develop torque in our body. So as much as my lower body is pushing that way, I want to try and keep my upper body facing in that direction. So I'm generating this idea of torque around my left hip. So it's not a pain, but I'm currently feeling a pressure here, which wants to release in that direction, which hopefully you can see will really lend itself to that fast, powerful Kyagi. So from this position, try to send your lower body one way, your upper body the other before sending it into that fast Yokogeri Kyagi. With the Kosudachi, 2 things. It's really important, of course, that this is not a sort of leap, but nor do I want my left foot to just be a slow step, though it isn't a jump. I want the timing between my right foot and my left foot landing to be as small as possible. So from this position, as well as sending that right foot out, make sure you are pushing off that left leg. So it's a very quick step in rather than a drag up. When it comes to the Kakiwakyuki, we have two different ways, really, that we can perform the step. So, of course, we could send my left leg out and then turn into the Kakuakyuki. And, of course, we could do the same on the opposite side. And this is definitely correct and very applicable to certain applications and style of movements. But as always, we want to try and challenge ourselves, particularly high grades, as much as possible. So from this position, rather than allowing this left leg to stretch, perhaps I want to think about, again, my right inner thigh, my right glute, and my right upper body, bringing everything round before opening back out. And again, it just makes the movement a little more nuanced, a little fuller, more body compression and expansion. So that is the full tutorial for Heian Yondan. These certainly aren't all of the points we can talk about with this kata, and certainly all of the points we've talked about in the other Heian tutorials. There's so much in these katas to discuss, which we'll perhaps come on to in a later video. As always, if you have any questions or any comments, please let me know. I hope to see you in another video or in the dojo soon. Us!